Hi, Anshul. Congratulations.
Hello,
I'm
ma'am.
very happy to have a conversation with you today. And congratulations again for securing seats in all the five IIMs. And
Thank
it's very
you.
surprising, and it's a happy situation that you opted out of interviewing for IIM Ranchi. So this is the best
Thank you.
place. And again, heartiest congratulations from
Thank
the
you.
IIMS end as well. Uh, can we start a little bit about your profile? In terms of
Yes.
what your 10 scores, what were your 12
Hmm.
scores, on
Yeah.
maths if you are a math student.
Yes, ma'am. So my name is Anshanil Bhalsakre and I live in Pune in Aund. And for my 12th standard, I chose commerce with maths because maths is one of the integral parts of IIM Indore. And since my 10th standard, I knew I wanted to do IPM course. So I chose 11, 12 commerce with maths.
Fantastic. So what were your 10 scores?
In my 10th, my scores of the boards,
Yes,
ma'am, I got 94% in my 10th, and in my 12th, I got 96%.
94 and 96, which is pretty good. Okay, so you
Yes.
said that you wanted to do IPM from
Hmm.
the 10th standard. So how
Yes.
did you came across this particular course?
Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, when I was in my ninth standard, one of my senior, my 3 year senior, who was in the 12th standard, Anshula Mulkalwar, even she was in IMS, and even she converted into IM Indore. So, I was actually curious about what this IPM course is because she was my sister's best friend, so she would always come to my house,
Oh,
and then they used to talk about their basically about their exams and then how about her course. So, I was very curious about what this IPM course is. And when I heard about it, I mean, there is economics, there is mathematics, plus there is drama, there is dance. I mean, I was very excited by the holistic education that IPM is going to provide us. And then I researched more about it on my own. I went to the IM website, which I've been visiting for like hundreds of times since the last 2 years. So I was very energetic and I was very enthusiastic to pursue this course, which is why in my 10th standard, after my 10th standard, I joined IMS to achieve my IM dream.
wow, it's something looks like you have manifested it. And
Yes.
this is great. So, what was your journey? As in, once you cleared your 10th standard and you started with
Hmm.
11th, and as you said that you were a math student with commerce, what
Yes.
exactly was your course in terms of moving? You joined IMS when you were in 11th standard.
When I was in 11th, yeah.
Correct. So, what prompted you to start that early?
Okay, so ma'am, I knew for the IPM, I mean it's a lot of maths focused. If I even saw the past year papers when I was researching about my various options for my 11th and 12th standard. I saw the past year papers and they were very like math focused. And actually in my 10th standard, math was one of my weaker points. So I saw that, and when I saw this course and I was enthusiastic to pursue it, I knew that I had to make maths one of my strong pursuits. I joined in my 11th standard at the beginning, IMS, which is IMS Own Center, and since I wanted to improve my maths, it was one of the weaker points. So I used to go to IMS. I was in the Saturday Sunday batch, but I used to go there even in the weekdays because in my 11th standard I could manage my IPM studies as well as my board as well as my 11th standard studies. So I used to devote a lot of time for my quant section. And even in the verbal ability, I saw that the verbal ability at FMAT, it's a level higher than they just say it's 10th, but it's a level higher than what, what they actually claim to be. So I knew I had to balance these two quant, but I focused more on quant in my 11th standard, and my foundation, I made it very strong, the basic foundation of quant, because that's actually the main part of it. If your foundation is clear, you can even solve the higher level questions, is what I feel. So throughout my 11th and 12th standard, I relied a lot on IMS resources. I mean, I love the online classes, IMS, both of quant and verbal ability. And at the end of my IPM journey, after my boards, I think the IMS arranged PYQ sessions. So they used to solve previous year questions, and even the sirs used to they used to even solve that in the given time limit. So
Correct.
that actually helped me understand which questions to choose, which questions to leave, and how to approach a question. And this was my journey.
Fantastic. This was quite an in detail journey, and I am sure that this could help a lot of students. Now, coming to the aspect of the the IMS, the prep what you were doing. Okay.
Hmm.
In this whole uh, journey of learning, how were you managing with your board prep, with
Okay.
your IPM prep? Because you started early, you got a head start. You
Hmm.
were a math student, but 96 and 12, right?
Yeah.
How did you manage to score well at the same time? You have cracked
Hmm.
IIM Indore.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I think the main part about this is for my boards, I mostly relied on my teachers because I was in Vicky Patil Memorial School, and the teachers, I mean, they were really good. And if you and like my IMS, like I improved my quant section in my 11th standard. I knew if I wanted to improve, let's say my accounts or my economics, I had to myself approach the teacher and have to ask the teacher my doubts until I had understood it. Even if they were exhausted, I used to go, ma'am, one more doubt, one more doubt. So I managed my boards preparation mostly through my classes that used to happen. And then after that, I used to come home by 3 o'clock. After that, till 4, I used to study for my schooling. And then I would mainly focus on my IPM studies. This continued till November. And after November, I knew that, okay, now the boards are approaching. So I have to denote more time. So I kind of shifted gears. So let's say if I had to study for 10 hours a day, and I used to give 7 hours to IPM and 3 hours to boards. But then after that, I had to give 4 hours to boards and 5 hours to IPM. And towards the end, I really focused on my boards because I knew that even though IIM Indore doesn't officially claim that they have a boards percentage, still, I mean, it reflects a good personality to the interviewer if you
True.
have a good
True.
12 boards percentage. And even for other courses, I mean, it's very helpful. So yeah, so that's how I managed my board exams. Towards the end, I focused more on boards. Like I said, if 10 hours a day I had to study, 8 hours I would do board, 2 hours I would do IPM. But then as soon as my boards got over, I didn't waste a day. I geared up again and I started my IPM journey. And yeah, and then at that time I had to study 12 to 11 hours a day. 12 is a lot, actually. 11 to 10 hours a day.
Oh, I think it's from the 10 to 12 hours, no, 11 hours. Commendable work. I mean, definitely commendable work. So, Anshul, with this whole, prep and your balancing board and IPM prep, a very important role which, this particular thing works, which is IPM, the mock test which IMS provides to us,
Yeah, yes,
to
ma'am.
the students. Okay. So, when did you start taking the mock test? Did it help you? Were mock tests helpful in any way? And if it is, how?
Okay, ma'am. So, ma'am, I had given mocks, but I had given mocks since the in my 12th standard, since my beginning. In July, I think I started giving mocks, but they were very irregular and inconsistent. I mean, one month I used to give mocks, and I used to wait for 1 month, and then again. So I started seriously giving mocks from November and December, when I had actually thoroughly revised my portion at least twice or thrice. And at the starting, as I think many of the students will experience, at the starting the mock scores were down. Yeah, because IMS mocks, let me tell you, I mean they are not easy. Like let's say there are the three sections: the short answers, the MCQ, and the verbal ability. So speaking from the 2023 IPMAT paper point of view, the short answers questions that I had at IMS, it really reflected what I actually got in the actual paper. I mean the theorems that the sirs taught us, and the mock test I gave towards the end. I actually remember one question which was quite similar, that from IMS mocks that came into the exam. So the short answer section, I mean, it really helped me over there. In my MCQ section, IMS math MCQ section is quite tougher to the actual paper. I mean, I found that for my 2023 IPMAT paper. I mean, yeah, it was quite tougher. So, but that actually helped me prepare for a higher level of questions and how to handle it in a less amount of time and what questions to skip. Like I said, but mostly I feel more than answering questions, you need to know what questions to skip, because when I used to give mocks at the beginning, at that time I used to spend a lot of time even on the questions that I could not solve. But then I saw the IMS video about the ABC approach, And then eventually, I mean, slowly and gradually, I started inculcating it in my IMS mocks, and it helped me a lot in my MCQ section. And the verbal ability section, let me tell you, IMS verbal ability section is excellent. I mean, it's way higher than the actual paper, and the grammar rules that actually you get in IMS mocks. They are, I mean, they are so thorough and they are so extensive that even if you give the IMS mocks just continuously, you'll still understand and you analyze them, you'll still understand all the sections, all the types of questions that will come in the actual paper. So the vulnerability section of IMS mocks, I found it was excellent and helped me a lot in my prep.
This just makes me happy that the hard work which is being put by mentors and all the mentors together who are putting the hard work is something which is actually being appreciated. It's working. It's really working for all of you, and you guys are reaching or kind of just your drive towards getting your dreams. You're able to achieve it. Okay, now coming beyond the mock. Okay, you said that 10 to 11 hours of study you have been continuously giving mocks. Now with the IIM Indore, right now you are there.
Mm.
Do you think all this hard work what you have put in?
Yeah.
It's been a while you are in IIM Indore, right? In the on the
Yeah,
campus,
three
right?
days max. Yeah.
Is it all worth it?
Okay, let me tell you guys, it's definitely worth it. I mean, being in Amindar, I mean, if it has been my dream since the 10th standard, and now that I'm actually over here, and we had our induction program actually right now, and they told us about the various committees that are there in Amindar. We met with the faculty members, we asked them questions, and I mean, it you can feel that it has really paid off all those 10, 12 hours of studies, all those endless quant sums, then sleepless nights, all of those have paid off because right now coming over here, I even met with my seniors, and I mean they are so nice to, I mean, engage in conversation with. Yeah, and then they told us about the student committee of at IIM Indore, and then we're gonna have our exuberance party, which we are all looking forward to.
Oh,
And all of the professors congratulating us on our IPM journey. And even though I let me tell you the cohort over here, the all the other students over here, I mean they have come through such diverse backgrounds that there's a lot to learn from them. Right now, I was talking to my peers, and even in IMS, all the people who have been selected, they are from different states, different areas. And I mean, looking at the diverse background, this course is actually, it gives what it promises, that is diversity and inclusion. Yes,
fantastic. So the point is that it's all, it's definitely worth it.
definitely.
One thing which I would want to, ask or possibly, just kind of know your view on.
Mm.
Was IMS helpful to you in the whole prep? I know you have been speaking about the mock test and everything, but what do you think was the main role of IMS in the whole prep journey?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I think the main role of IMS in my prep journey, like throughout my 11th, 12th standard, I think, like I said, if you know the basics, you can even tackle the harder questions. I mean, IMS helped me. I was in the offline batch, so IMS helped me uh, do my basics thoroughly and quite extensively. I mean, I practiced basics so much times that when harder questions used to come, I could at least figure out, I mean, what kind of question it is, what formula am I supposed to apply. And even my IMS mentor, our quantitative mentor at my offline classes, he even advised me to prepare an error log. So I used to prepare an error log wherein I would write all my questions that I could not solve maybe in my IMS mocks, or even if I just find it in any other book. And revising that, I used to revise it daily. I mean, he told me that in revision you need consistency. So and revise consistently. So I used to revise daily, and then ma'am, because of revision, let me tell you, even on my final day, I had a test at like 8 or 9. I don't remember exactly. But 2 hours later, when I was giving my test, I found that the questions from my revision, from my book, that error log I had created, they were actually in the exam. And when you see it, so I could, and one of them was like ditto. So I could just answer it in like 2 seconds, and that gives you a lot of confidence in the exam, and you can move through it. And then you could, with confidence, I mean, I could increase my scores in my actual exam.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you so much, Anshul, for taking our time and doing this conversation. Again,
Thanks a lot
congratulations.
to IMS, ma'am.
All we are here for our students and happiest congratulations. And right now, it's the mountain base, base camp Trihua. So it's the first year.
Yeah.
Do well. Make sure you make us proud. And thank you again for taking our time and doing this with us.
Thanks a
Bye
lot.
bye.
Bye bye.